Do not unplug the base station, plug in any additional devices, or make any other system changes while this device is being updated. Doing so can render this base station unusable. How are they so bad at this, dude? Valve makes billions of dollars a year, man. What is their problem? Solve the goddamn problem. Like, this is so lazy because look, any device that has firmware updates like this, just have a frickin' backup firmware image that you resort to if the flash fails. It's not hard. Spend the extra 5 cents per unit and just do that. But people, I don't know, they'd rather put up messages like this to the end user. I don't understand why device manufacturers think this is acceptable. By the way, this is just one of the base stations. We have to do the same thing to the other base station. Hope that Windows Update doesn't reboot us while we're updating the base station. That could happen. They probably do, but give the message anyway to cover their ass when it doesn't work. Maybe, but you know what people would love? If they could buy something that just works and didn't show them messages like this. People would love that, dude. All right, that's 1 out of 5 updates that we need to do. Oh, it's not done yet, though. It's finishing. You expect a minimum of 20 minutes of, quote, fun time. Update more devices. Update available, other base station. This is fun. No, I bought this index like 2 months ago or something. Just because, you know, if I make video games for a living, I should know what's going on, right? So that's all. And then, you know, I just wasn't motivated to get it out because just the games aren't there, you know? The games aren't there, as everybody knows. Okay, we're done. We're done with the part of the update before it says finishing the update, which is not counted in the percents. Update more devices. Controller. Okay, well, I have to replug my controllers in. Never mind that they were plugged in, and then I unplugged them so that we could play video games. How foolish am I? Warning, do not unplug the controller. Doing so can render this controller unusable. Dude, these USB plug and unplug sounds are aggravating me to the max. Guys, fix your shit. How is this so bad? At least the controller update was fast. I've got hands. Can you see my hands? I guess it only tracks the index finger, which is why it's called the Valve Index. All the other fingers have pretty bad tracking that's very laggy. Why did they even ship this? I don't know. The index fingers are the only ones that are responsive. The rest of it is crap. All right. It's like too crap to actually use either for games or just for... Yeah, this is terrible, dude. Is the Oculus one better than this? What's the deal? This is so blurry, dude. Do I need to wear glasses now? Well, actually, where it is vertically on my head seems to matter a lot. So maybe I just need to tighten it somehow. Feels pretty tight already, though. Oh, that was loose. That was tight. Yeah, I think so. There's a sweet spot where it stops being blurry, but the headset wants to hang down below that spot. So I kind of, in order to read the text clearly, I kind of have to look up, which is giving me a bad feeling about this. See, the tracking is so great, but the fingers are fucking crap, dude. The fingers must have been done by the Steam controller team. The rest of the tracking is really good. It's better than the Vive. Aperture Hand Lab. Let's go do that. Why didn't they show these controller graphs? Oh, maybe it did. I don't know. Okay. What a great hand lab right here. I'm in the hand lab. No, I'm waiting. Yeah, it still wants to hang down below It's just a little too heavy and dragging itself down below where it needs to be. Boy, these loading times are sick. Is my PC still alive? Hello? 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 It just completely black screened me for like 30 seconds there. Valve, why? Okay, hold on. The floor is like 3 freaking feet up. Do I have to fucking calibrate? How do I recalibrate? How do I get this to stay in front of my eyes, and how do I recalibrate? Can I do room calibration from in here? Maybe not. The floor was like up to my hips, dude. If I need to redo the room boundary, that'll be ass. Yep, it's gonna make me redo the whole room boundary. Thanks, guys. Oh my God, guys. Like, they sell this, dude. This is the 3rd generation of this hardware, and I can't just fix the floor height without doing all this. Now, it's weird. Okay, wait, it wasn't miscalibrated because the floor height in this thing was fine. It was just Aperture Labs that was wrong. I should have thought about that. Maybe I should have just tried restarting it. Dude, this is so blurry. Let me try messing with the IPD some more. I need like a wider IPD than is available, because it stops, like the place where it stops here at 70 millimeters is the least blurry. I need to go right from 70 millimeters. See, I just need to put a hand here and keep the headset elevated. Oh my God, dude. So far, this is actually very frustrating because, like, the original Vive was not very high res, so if it was a little blurry, you're like, it's fine. But this is high enough res that it looks good when it's in focus. So when it's frickin' hanging down my face like this and I can't see anything, it's just kind of intolerable because I'm like, dude, stay in focus, you know? All right, let's try it again. See, floor is in the right place right now. Floor is still in the right place. Now I've just got a black screen forever. This is totally unprofessional. Consoles would fail you from certification if you did this. Console games that aren't even VR would fail you for that.
Robot detected.
In VR, that's super unforgivable. Okay, the floor is in the right place.
Gripping claws have been replaced with
hands.
please raise your
Hands.
up to your
Neck-mounted weapons.
I'm not flipping anyone off. It just won't track that finger correctly.
with a
face.
My legs are awesome. Oh, it's about the right height. That's good. They really need, this is a place where you throw a little machine learning at it, and you would at least, even if the body pose didn't match my body, it would at least be something that a human being would do. Whereas this is not, you can't really stand like this because you'd be off balance a little bit backwards. You'd be about to fall on your ass. So, all right. So the number one thing that VR games need to do is get over it and draw the buttons so that I can tell which one is A and which one is B as a beginner, and then let me turn that off later. Like, the fact that it doesn't draw them, it's trying to be immersive, but I'm just confused. I don't know what is the B button. Dude, these controls. No, all right, rip. I just don't have any tolerance for that. I think I'm done with VR gaming for tonight. I think I have my answer about the current state of VR gaming. It's too bad. So, in general, I think the hardware is really good. I don't like the finger tracking, but the headset display is very nice. It's very impressive. The tracking of the headset and the handsets is very nice and very impressive. Just the 60OF tracking in space, it's substantially better than the Vive, and the Vive was already good, right? So the hardware is great. The games, people don't seem to know how to make games for this, and I don't know what their problem is. Just don't do stuff that's awkward in VR, but people don't seem to understand that. The fact that my hand was sticking to the gun sometimes and not other times, it's just black screen when loading. Well, that too, dude. The black screen when loading is kind of unforgivable, and that's on the frickin' Valve game. What are they doing? But also just that gun game right there, look, is just super awkward to try to hold things and move them around, right? In that game. In something like, Beat Saber or Pistol Whip, it's not awkward, right? So just do the things that are not awkward. Don't do the things that are awkward. It's very easy to understand, and yet almost nobody does it. The frickin' climbing in whatever the Metal Gear Solid game was is so terrible. Just don't do that. Don't do that. It's terrible. Don't put it in your game. Find the things that are good, like Beat Saber and Pistol Whip. So the problem is just both Beat Saber and Pistol Whip make decisions that make me not want to play them daily. But yeah, if there were many more games that actually didn't do awkward things, or Space Pirate Trainer is another game that doesn't do stuff that's awkward. At least I don't remember it doing that. So just don't do that. Don't do melee sword fighting. It's bad. Don't put it in your game. How hard is that? It's interesting because Beat Saber feels good. But the reason Beat Saber feels good is that they never block your saber, right? It just goes through things and it always matches your arm. As soon as it doesn't block you or doesn't match, it feels terrible. So all those melee combat games where you block and whatever, or where people block you, they're just bad. You could do a combat game where you block, but they always track one to one, and you can attack and never get blocked. That would feel good. So, here's the thing. For a night of just powering up the VR headset and playing some games, overall, it was a positive experience. I like how good some parts of the headset are. I like how good the tracking is. I like how good the refresh rate is. The games that are not awkward are fun to play insofar as I like the game design, which of course I'm a grump about game design, so I don't like most games. So they still have relatively limited interest. But it doesn't seem that hard to do the right version of this. And it feels to me like certain aspects of it have been fumbled a little bit too much. So game designers have fumbled their end of the deal where only a small percentage of the games are not awkward. Why? It's not that hard. We've had decades of game design experience. We know what it feels like to feel good. We know what it feels like to not feel good. Okay. As soon as you put that climbing a wall thing in your game is bad. Don't do it. That's obvious, but people do it. It's so developers are partially to blame. But also these controllers are a step back. A little bit. Build quality feels good, but they're just awkward and they hurt my hand. And then these hand grips get all sweaty and gross. I don't know. The finger tracking, like I said, doesn't really work for me. Maybe that'll get fixed in an update, but it doesn't feel like the kind of thing that can get fixed, because what the finger tracking feels like to me is that the hardware is very noisy and there's lots of filters running to denoise it and figure out what's really going on. And the problem is that filters add latency and gum up things, so it can never feel tight. And the problem for hand motion to be natural, it has to feel tight, because that's the whole point of moving your hand, is that it's natural. So I don't believe that these are ever going to be good. And just like everybody says, oh, the Mac trackpad is great, and then I go try it and it's terrible, I bet the same thing's going on. I bet the people saying that the finger tracking is good just don't have low latency, high naturalness standard for what feeling good actually would feel like. That's my suspicion. I don't know that for sure, but that's my suspicion. Yeah, I mean, if there were more games that were better, and if they didn't do all this awkward stuff, which is related to them being better, then I think more people would buy these, because the hardware, parts of the hardware are good, right? And if there were more of a market for this, maybe there would be more of a market for third-party controllers where people could fix some of the stupid parts of this, right? Maybe next gen of hand tracking will be better enough that it actually works. I mean, the thing is, my brain still knows that I've got something in my hand. And so my brain wants to keep my hand closed, because in real life, normally you don't have a strap here holding this thing in your hand, right? And so it probably takes a while also to learn that. And maybe I would learn it and it would feel better, but the tracking's still not good. So, you know, that's my review. It's mixed. Is it worth $1,000? Probably not for most people, or however much it costs. Like, I think that's about how much it is if you buy the controllers and the base station and the unit. If $1,000 doesn't mean that much to you, then it's probably worth it just to see where VR is, but it's still not a polished consumer experience. Like you guys saw, it hard locked my machine and killed the stream when I tried to update the frickin' drivers. So like all that stuff, like I loaded the hand. That's a weird thing I still haven't figured out, is I loaded the hand thing, the Valve hand thing, and the floor level changed from being correct to being like halfway up my body, which it shouldn't be able to do without a recalibrate. So that was really weird. That's like a weird software bug. There's just too much stuff like that. It'll get better, but the problem is if it didn't get good enough fast enough, maybe we'll have to wait 20 years, right? Because the market will die and nobody will want to be in it. I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, for how expensive this is, it has to be better. And that's what they were trying to do with the Apple packaging, right? They were trying to give you a higher grade experience, and I appreciate that. But that needs to go into like the design of the controllers all the way, right? And into what you accept and what you don't accept. You heard that the sound in the headset is very good. Did I notice it? Well, okay, I certainly, the build quality on the headphones feels good, and I certainly didn't have any problem. They're better than the headset in like the Vive Pro. They're way better than the non-existent headset in the Vive. I would say though that I certainly didn't do any listening quality tests, right? So like I didn't listen to what I considered to be high quality music in order to see how much of it that I could hear, but they were good. I mean, you know, they're good. I don't know. I haven't used an Oculus Quest, so I can't compare to whatever's in that, but they're good headphones relative to other VR. And like I was saying at the beginning, I never really solved this problem. Like, there's a place where the focus is optimal for my eyes, where things are the most clear, and just the weight of the headset always dragged it down past that point so that things were blurry, no matter how much I adjusted the back strap or the top strap. So like that is that didn't feel good. I eventually had to give up and say, okay, everything's a little bit blurry. And that's a shame because the display is really good. I remember what the first gen Vive looked like, and this is so much better. It is so much better. But it's blurry all the time because I can't keep it in the right place in front of my eyes. So that's something that could be improved.